Now, there are some sleeping disorders too, like the problems we have while or during sleeping. According to a recent poll, about one fourth of American adults say that they could get a good night's sleep only a few nights a month or less. These people are suffering from disorder known as insomnia, defined as persistent difficulty falling or staying asleep. Most cases of insomnia are temporary, lasting from a few days to several weeks, but in some cases, insomnia can last for years. Insomnia can result from physical disorders such as pain due to injury or illness, or from psychological problems such as stress, financial worries, relationship difficulties, changes in sleep patterns such as jet lag, changes in work shift, and even the movement to or from daylight saving times can produce insomnia. Sometimes the sleep that the insomniac does get is disturbed by non restorative, and the lack of quality sleep produces impairment of functioning during the day. Ironically, the problem may be compounded by people's anxiety over insomnia itself. Their fear of being unable to sleep may wind up keeping them awake. Some people may also develop a conditioned anxiety to the bedroom or the bed. People who have difficulty sleeping may turn to drugs to help them sleep. Barbiturates, benzodiazepines, and sedatives are frequently marketed and prescribed as sleep aids. But they may interrupt the natural stages of the sleep cycle and, in the end, are likely to do more harm than good. In some cases, they may also purport dependence. Most practitioners of sleep medicine today recommend making environmental and scheduling changes first, followed by therapy for underlying problems, with pharmacological remedies used only as a last resort. According to the National Sleep Foundation, some steps that can be used to combat insomnia include the following: use the bed and bedroom for sleep and sex only. Do not spend time in bed during the day. Then establish a regular bedtime routine and regular sleep wake schedule. Think positively about your sleeping. Try not to get anxious just because you are losing a little sleep. Do not eat or drink too much close to bedtime. Create a sleep promoting environment that is dark, cool, and comfortable. Avoid disturbing noises. Consider a bedside fan or white noise machine to block out disturbing sounds. Consume less or no caffeine, particularly late in the day. Avoid alcohol and nicotine, especially close to bedtime. Exercise, but not within 3 hours before bedtime. Avoid naps, particularly in the late afternoon or evening. Keep a sleep diary to identify your sleep habits and patterns that you can share with your doctor. Now, another common sleep problem in sleep apnea is a sleep disorder characterized by pauses in breathing that can last at least 10 seconds during sleep. In addition to preventing restorative sleep, sleep apnea can also cause high blood pressure and may raise the risk of stroke and heart attack. Most sleep apnea is caused by the obstruction of the walls of the throat that occurs when we fall asleep. It is common in obese or older individuals who have lost muscle tone and is particularly common in men. Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is a disorder characterized by extreme daytime sleepiness with frequent episodes of nodding off. The syndrome may also be accompanied by attacks of cataplexy in which the individual loses muscle tones, resulting in a partial or complete collapse. It is estimated that at least 2 lakh Americans suffers from narcolepsy, although only about a quarter of these people have been diagnosed. Other sleep disorders occur when cognitive or motor processes that should be turned off or reduced in magnitude during sleep operate at higher than normal levels. One example is somnambulism, that is sleepwalking, in which the person leaves the bed and moves around while still asleep. Sleepwalking is more common in childhood, with the most frequent occurrence around the stage of 12 years. About 4% of adults experience somnambulism. Sleep terror is a destructive sleep disorder most frequently experienced in childhood that may involve loud screams or intense panic. The sufferer cannot wake from sleep even though he or she is trying to. In extreme cases, sleep terrors may result in bodily harm or property damage as the sufferer moves abruptly. Up to 3% of adults suffer from sleep terrors, which typically occurs in sleep stage N3. Other sleep disorders include bruxism, in which sufferer grinds his teeth during sleep, leg syndrome, in which sufferer reports an itching, burning, or otherwise uncomfortable feeling in his legs. What are the heavy costs of not sleeping? Our preferred sleep times and our sleep requirements vary throughout our life cycle. Newborns tend to sleep between 16 and 18 hours per day. Preschoolers tend to sleep between 10 to 12 hours per day. School age children and teenagers usually prefer at least 9 hours of sleep per night. And most adults say that they require 7 to 8 hours per night. There are also individual differences in need for sleep. Some people do quite well with fewer than 6 hours of sleep per night, whereas other needs 9 hours or more. The most recent study by the National Sleep Foundation suggests that adults should get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night. Now, this was the average taken out. Then we have dreams and dreaming. Dreams are the succession of images, thoughts, sounds, and emotions that passes through our minds while sleeping. When people are awakened from REM sleep, they normally report that they have been dreaming, suggesting that people normally dream several times a night, but that most dreams are forgotten on awakening. The content of our dreams generally relates to our everyday experiences and concerns, and frequently our fears and failures. Many cultures regard dreams as having great significance for the dreamer, either by revealing something important about the dreamer's present circumstances or predicting his future. The Austrian psychologist Sigmund Freud analyzed the dreams of his patients to help him understand their unconsciousness, needs, and desires, and psychotherapists still make use of this technique today. Freud believed that the primary function of dreams was wish fulfillment, or the idea that dreaming allows us to act out the desires that we must repress during the day. He differentiated between the manifest control of the dream, that is, its literal actions, and its latent content, the hidden psychological meaning of the dreams. Freud believed that the real meaning of dreams is often suppressed by unconscious mind in order to protect the individuals from thoughts and feelings that are hard to cope with. By uncovering the real meaning of dreams through psychoanalysis, Freud believed that people could better understand their problems and resolve the issues that create difficulties in their lives. Although Freud and others have focused on the meaning of dreams, other theories about the causes of dreams are less concerned with their content. One possibility is that we dream primarily to help with consolidation or moving of information into long-term memory. The activation synthesis theory of dreaming. Now, this proposes still another explanation for dreaming, namely that dreams are our brain's interpretation of the random firings of neurons in the brainstem. According to this approach, the signal from the brainstems are sent into the cortex just as they are sent when we are awake. But because the pathways from the cortex to skeletal muscles are disconnected during REM sleep, the cortex does not know how to interpret the signals. As a result, the cortex strings the messages together into the coherent stories we experience as dreams. Although researchers are still trying to determine the exact causes of dreaming, one thing remains clear, that we need to dream. If we are deprived of REM sleep, we quickly become less able to engage in the important tasks of everyday life until we are finally able to dream again.